This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland in Chiang Mai, Thailand, for another article, podcast, and video for the fans out there. Again, I'm trying to make minimum wage. I'm trying to make $7 an hour. I'm not even making that. In fact, I'm far from it. Please make a donation to Fundrazr and or PayPal. All the information is on the page on China Rising Radio Sinoland. It's also in YouTube. It's also in SoundCloud in the description. I've also been told to remind everybody in SoundCloud and YouTube to hit the subscription button and to keep hitting it, because apparently the powers that be are dropping fans from people like me who tell the truth. And I know that's true because it's happening with me with Facebook and Twitter and others. So anyway, please make a donation for all my hard work and valuable journalism. Today is good news from Cuba. Dr. Ariel Alonso Pérez sends updates from the island's heartland concerning SARS CoV coronavirus 2. Pictured above, the front cover of Dr. Ariel Alonso Pérez's damning book proving the United States' decades-long germ warfare attacks on the people, poultry, livestock, and crops of Cuba. In English, it is The Biological War Against Cuba. I am proud to call him a comrade. Here we go. I recently wrote that the SARS coronavirus 2 pandemic will strengthen humanity's communist, socialist, anti-imperialist peoples and cause a dystopian nightmare for the 99% in global capitalist countries. This is no truer than in Cuba. These 11 million proud and defiant fighters have paid a heavy price for insisting on their independence and freedom from the slavery and humiliation of global capitalism. Since kicking out the raping, plundering Yankees and Europeans in 1959, Western sanctions and a total economic blockade have cost them an estimated $1.22 trillion US dollars in current dollars. That comes out to $20.4 billion per year of economic loss, or about 20% of the country's annual GDP of $100 billion. Imagine how much more wealthy and prosperous Cubans would be today if they were 20% richer over the last 60 years. But that is the whole point of the West's genocidal economic sanctions and blockades, which is to make sure that no communist socialist country can lead a normal life and flourish. Communist socialist success stories around the world would inspire the West 99% to start demanding real, lasting change for their benefit. This is why your Anglo-lands oligarchs are happy to exterminate year after year, decade after decade, millions of citizens in anti-imperialist countries behind their withering big lie propaganda machine, the BLPM, to demonize and destroy them. Even well-intentioned Westerners are so brainwashed about the evils of communism and socialism that they tacitly normalize this genocide. They have blood on their hands, which they cannot see inside the Great Western Firewall matrix. Since President Xi Jinping was elected since Xi Jinping was elected president in 2013, the unprecedented, desperate attempts to cripple communist socialist China are no coincidence. For the first time, global capitalism has a, in parentheses, rich, end of parentheses, super successful, powerful, visionary, anti-imperial country they cannot defeat with sanctions and blockades. This description of China has been true since the Mao era, 1949 to 1978, but what has been added is the financial wealth of, quote, rich too. In my aforementioned article, I wrote much about the belief in solidarity among anti-imperial peoples. Europe had a strong sense of this ideal after World War II when its economies were largely socialist. However, it is but a flicker of a flame these days after 40 years of relentless BLPM, neoliberal conservative brainwashing. Privatize everything. Austerity for the 99%. Trillions in giveaways to the 1%. They deserve it. When anti-imperialists sign a letter or say goodbye with, quote, in solidarity, end of quote, it represents the hopes, dreams, struggles for a better future for all the world's 99%. In spite of countless thousands of martyrs who have suffered and died in Cuba as a result of the West's genocidal sanctions and blockade, Cubans have shown tremendous solidarity with the world's peoples, sending over 400,000 medical experts to more than 164 countries in the last 60 years. In spite of every psychopathic evil imaginable that the West heaps on the indefatigable people of Cuba, they still currently have 28,000 medical professionals working in 60 countries today. Now with SARS coronavirus 2, Cubans are offering their expertise to fight the virus on the streets and in the hospitals of the world. Dr. Ariel Alonso Pérez, who has contributed to the Bioweapon Truth Commission and its global online library at www.bioweapontruth.com, recently sent to another founding member, Tom Powell, and me a couple of emails to tell us news from the heartland of Cuba. They are translated below from the Spanish with slight editing for clarification. Maybe then you can appreciate why communist socialist Cuba and all its anti-imperial brothers and sisters are going to be doing just fine with or without SARS coronavirus 2. I am proud to be Dr. Ariel, and I am proud. I need to rewrite this. I am proud to have Dr. Ariel and Tom as comrades in solidarity. Email number 1, dated April 6, from Dr. Ariel. Brothers Thomas and Jeff, very happy to receive your email. I am also retired and my health is somewhat deteriorated due to problems in my legs, but we must continue fighting. I have also spent many years first investigating the facts of U.S. biological warfare against Cuba and later investigating the history of these covert operations. Soon I will also make the history of this pandemic that I am convinced is another covert action. In other words, he's talking about coronavirus. I live in a town far from the capital, Havana. It's called Santiago de las Vegas. My wife and I are also protecting ourselves, as has been recommended in Cuba. I will send you another email today about Cuba's aid to other countries, including 2 countries in Europe, Italy and the Principality of Andorra. In other emails, I will try to send you my book in PDF format. It can also be found on the internet searching for Ariel Alonso Pérez or La Guerra Biológica contra Cuba, and on a web page named ruthtienda.com, ruthtienda.com. When you have it, you can write the articles you want on the topics that I deal with in that story. I have also seen my book on Amazon, which sells it more expensive, pirated in quotes, and from whose sales I have never received a penny. Maybe I'll try to send you other articles of mine. Take care, brothers, your wives and families. The good ones have to continue living, to continue fighting. In solidarity, Professor Ariel. Then, later that day, email number 2, April 6, Brothers Thomas and Jeff, I am sending you some good news from Cuba. While the bad guys spread death and blood across the planet, the good ones like us, we water the garden of our world with love, solidarity, and blessings. Cuba has distributed solidarity throughout the world for many years and in many countries which have needed and requested it. From very early on, my country has sent its doctors, nurses, and technical health personnel to many countries to contribute to saving lives threatened by COVID-19. Here is the list that I drew up. Venezuela, March 16th, 6 doctors. Nicaragua, March 18th, 5 doctors. Suriname, March 20th, 21 doctors and 30 nurses. Grenada, March 20th, 5 doctors. Italy, March 21st, 35 doctors, 15 nurses, 1 technician, and 1 health professional. Jamaica, March 21st, 39 doctors and 99 nurses. Haiti, March 21st, 8 doctors and 7 nurses. Belize, March 25th, 27 doctors, 25 nurses, and 6 technicians and health professionals. Antigua and Barbuda, March 26th, 1 doctor and 25 nurses. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, March 26th, 4 doctors and 12 nurses. St. Lucia, March 27th, 11 doctors, 100 nurses, and 2 technicians and health professionals. Dominica, March 28th, 5 doctors and 25 nurses, and 5 technicians and health professionals. San Cristobal y Nieves, March 28th, 4 doctors and 30 nurses. Andorra, March 30th, 39 doctors. Barbados, April 5th, 1 doctor and 100 nurses. Mexico, April 8th, 10 healthcare workers. In total, our aid has been sent to 18 countries, including 2 countries in Europe for the first time, with 171 doctors, 553 nurses, and 24 other technicians and health professionals. This is a total of 750 Cuban health workers. They are all volunteers in the Henry Reeve Brigades. These brigades were created by Commander Fidel Castro to help the peoples of the Americas. When Hurricane Katrina hit that brother country, the government of the USA did not accept our help. In honor of brave American solidarity, Fidel gave that name to the brigades. Henry Reeve was a young U.S. officer who came to fight in Cuba and give us support for our war of independence in the 19th century and died giving his life for our country. Concluding this writing, another Cuban medical brigade was leaving for Mexico, which I added to the list above. In solidarity, Professor Ariel. Thank you. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland, signing out. I apologize for the water pump going off repeatedly, and unfortunately I have a very difficult situation.